When considering implementing a Kubernetes policy management solution, many engineers debate the question of building it in-house or buying an off-the-shelf product. Now, we at Datree offer such a solution, and in this video, I'll explain why I believe this is the right choice for most companies. So stay tuned. Whenever developers find themselves in need of a new service or tool, they contemplate whether they should build it themselves or maybe buy an off-the-shelf solution. Now, of course, there are advantages for either choice. Buying a solution saves man-hours and minimizes maintenance overhead, whereas building a solution allows you to customize it more to your specific needs. Now, the same is true when considering a policy management solution for Kubernetes. There are cases where buying an off-the-shelf product won't work. If you need integrations with legacy systems, for example, or if you already have some kind of existing custom-made policy management solution that you would just like to adapt to Kubernetes. Now, if you don't have such a unique case, you are most likely to benefit from an off-the-shelf product, such as Datree, and here's why. Most companies have multiple clusters, and if you want to implement policy management support for multiple clusters when building a custom solution, it can be a lengthy and resource-intensive project. Now, Datree, on the other hand, offers centralized management for multiple clusters directly out of the box. Define your policies once, and then use them anywhere you wish. So as you can see here in my dashboard, currently I'm viewing an EKS cluster. And the active policy that it's using is Starter, which is a collection of best practices in various fields in Kubernetes. And if I click this drop-down menu, I can easily switch to a different cluster. Let's see this Minikube cluster. And the active policy is different. It's NSA, which is a security-focused policy containing best practices from the NSA hardening guide. And if I click this cluster settings button, then you can see there are some various options here to configure your cluster. One of them is to change the active policy. So this is very simply done via this drop-down, and we can simply choose the policy we want and apply it, and again, every cluster can have a different one. Another advantage of buying rather than building is that Datree comes with a visual dashboard that conveniently displays your policy check history, your policies, your failing rules, and much, much more. Additionally, Datree provides detailed information about all of its rules and how to fix them, along with detailed and up-to-date documentation and seamless integration with popular third-party tools, such as Argo CD and Flux, and more. One prominent feature to mention in this regard is Datree's editable error messages. Here is a quick demonstration of what this feature is and how to use it. So I'm currently running Datree in blocking mode, which means that if any rule violations are found, then the resource that we're trying to apply will be denied by the webhook and it will not be applied to the cluster. So I'm currently using the policy named Starter, which is the initial policy we get when installing Datree, but I have disabled most of the rules and I've only left one rule active. This rule validates that each container image that we have in our resource, if it's for example a deployment, has a pin tag version and not just using latest for its image tag. So now let's see an example resource for that. Here is just some very generic deployment that violates this rule because it's using latest. Now let's try to apply this and see what error message we get. So first of all, as you can see, our webhook denies the request because it violates our policy, so Datree blocks it. And when we take a look at the rule itself that failed, this is the error message that we get. Incorrect value for key image, specify an image version to avoid unpleasant surprises in the future. Now this error message is editable, so let's see how we do that. Going back to the dashboard, under the policies page, we can click this rule, and if we scroll a bit down, we can edit message on rule failure. So I can set this to be any message that I want. For instance, I can write, my custom message, please talk to David. I'll save this. And now if I go back and try to apply this again, we can see that our message was changed, and it's updated to the one that we just changed. So this can be a very useful tool, both to educate your developers on how to fix mistakes in a way that suits you or your policy owner. Or it can be used to instruct them to speak to a specific person regarding this error. When building such a complex solution yourself, you'll probably end up using multiple open source components or libraries. Now, when you encounter an issue with one of them, you may find yourself dependent on the goodwill of the maintainers while waiting for a solution. Now, Datree, on the other hand, offers dedicated and fast support. Datree's dashboard contains an interface to both modify your policy and to view your policy violations and how to fix them. Datree's user management feature allows you to limit access so only certain users can edit the policy, while others can view it and learn how to fix their violations. Currently, I'm viewing my workspace, as you can see in the top right here. Now, in this workspace, I'm an admin, so I can create or modify policies as I please. If I go to the policies page, you can see that I can toggle rules on and off as I wish. I can create and delete policies. But now let's see what happens in a different scenario. So my colleague, Itamar, has invited me to his workspace. So let's switch to this workspace. Now here I'm simply a viewer. I do not have admin rights. So if I go to the policies page here, you can see that I can see which rules are toggled on and off and which are active, but I cannot change them myself. I cannot create new policies or modify any of the existing ones.